Are we good to go? Yes, we are. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Jones, the Corporate Officer for the Cathet Regional District, and I'd like to call this Planning Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. I'd like to acknowledge that we're holding this meeting on the traditional territory of the Tla'amin Nation. And prior to going to the first order of business, I'd like to turn this over to CAO Al Radke for staff introductions.
Thank you, Chair and Corporate Officer. This is basically a benefit for those new faces around the table, but I'd like you to put faces to names of the authors of the reports that you'll be reading about in the future now and when we have our planning committee meetings. First, I'd like to introduce you to our Manager of Planning Services, Laura Rodden. You want to give a wave there, Laura? And Charisse Roberts, the planner. And just for a little bit of side information, Charisse is taking over on a maternity leave for Julia Roberts, or excuse me, Julia Dykstra. Yeah, I don't even know when that's up for renewal. Anyways, those are the mainstay folks that you'll be reading from, and they're available to you if you have questions about the reports. But I thought it best to enable you to put a face to the name. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So first in order of business is election of the chair. I'll call 3 times for nominations for the position of chair. So I'll call the first time for nominations for the position of chair. Director McCormick.
I'll nominate Director Lennox.
Director Lennox has been nominated. Director Lennox, do you accept this nomination?
With thanks to my nominator, I accept.
Thank you. I'll call a second time for nominations to position of chair. I'll call a third and final time for nominations to the position of chair. Does that sound correct? Hearing no further nominations, Director Lennox, you have been acclaimed to the position of chair for the Planning Committee. I will turn the meeting over to you.
Okay, a little point of clarification, CAO or Corporate Officer, reading the procedure bylaw, I see that as chair virtually, I saw that I'm not supposed to do that, or have you changed that?
Oh, I believe that we allow for chairing of a meeting electronically, but I can just check that.
Okay, I'm just trying to follow all the rules and read stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. It's under virtual.
Yeah, so I think it's under section 3.3C. Section 3.3B does not apply if the chair is participating by video conference. So because you're participating by a video conference, you can chair this meeting if you so like.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do my best. All right, I guess I need to call the meeting to order, and you've acknowledged that we are holding the meeting. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The next item of business would be approval of the agenda.
All right, point number 3. All right, we'll move on to that. The Planning Committee agenda. Do we have a mover that the agenda be approved as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Director McCormick, thank you. Point number 4, the adoption of the minutes.
Let's call a vote on that one.
Any discussion? And we will call a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you. And again, thanks for keeping me on track. Point number 4, adoption of the minutes. 4.1, minutes of the Planning Committee meeting August 16th, 2022. We have a motion that the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held August 16th, 2022 be adopted. We have a mover.
Second.
Gisborne. McCormick, second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you. Point number 5, delegations and inquiries. Do we have any here? I see correspondence.
Thank you, Chair. There's no unregistered delegations wishing to speak to the committee today.
Thank you. Point number 6, no unfinished business that I see. Okay, and point number 7, correspondence. I think 7.1. Correspondence dated October 4th, 2022 from Rob Fleming, Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, regarding the drainage study funding. Just scroll down here. And are we requiring motions to receive correspondence now, or have we moved past that?
Thank you. Through the chair, a motion to receive is not in order. I would ask the members if they would want if they have any motions that they would like to make for this correspondence. Otherwise, the correspondence has been received.
Okay, I will do so. Is there any comment or statements regarding the correspondence received? I see Director McCormick.
Thank you, Chair. I would move that staff be directed, that the board direct staff to follow up with the ministry as per what's referred to in the letter, where he says his people are going to follow us. So the motion would just be that staff be directed to follow up with ministry staff regarding the drainage study.
Second. All those in favor of the motion?
Discussion?
Oh, sorry, discussion first, yes. Sorry, I'm just looking, Director McCormick.
Yeah, thank you. Just one point if the motion is approved, that I hope will be clarified as what the province's level of funding is going to be. We know they've committed to $10,000, but since then the price has gone up considerably for doing the study. So it would be helpful to see if their dollar figure has been amended to reflect current costs. Thank you, Chair.
Any further comment? I think I saw Director Gisborne.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Chair. Reading the letter, the estimate has gone up to 43,000, and the minister responds, "I appreciate that the regional district has now committed $23,000 to the project." So the minister isn't really being specific about the funding contributions from the ministry. I know that in the past it had been 10,000. Are we hoping for 20,000, or is there seem to be a little bit of a, they're not sure yet whether they will give us 20,000? That's kind of my question. Through the chair to the staff.
Thank you, CAO.
Through the chair, I'd like to refer this to Manager of Planning Services, Laura Rodden.
Thank you. Through the chair, my understanding is that from correspondence with ministry staff, that this project would be a 50-50 cost share, similar to the drainage study that was done here on the mainland several years ago. And I will, when I follow up with ministry staff, I will be making that point clear, that they match the 23,000 that's been budgeted by the QRD.
Thank you. No further questions.
Is he frozen? It might be.
It appears that way.
Any further questions on this correspondence? Okay, we're back. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, a little spotty connection here. Any further discussion on the correspondence? All right. We'll move to the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. Move on to point number 8. Sorry, was that for me? Okay, some feedback. Point number 8, reports. 8.1, the Texas Island Community Watershed Protection Bylaw update for electoral area D. There's a motion that the committee recommend the board endorse proposed updates for the Texas Island Community Watershed Protection Bylaw number 237, 1993 that will modernize the bylaw and ensure consistency with Texas Island Official Community Plan Bylaw number 551, 2019 and provincial legislation, and that the updates be incorporated into a new Texas Island Community Watershed Zoning Bylaw to be presented to the November board meeting for first and second reading. Director McCormick.
I'll move the recommendation.
Second, Director Brander. Discussion on the matter. Director McCormick.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to thank staff for the report. I really appreciate that that they're going to seek opinion from the people of Texada first before taking it any further. And I'm really glad to see that built into the process. I notice in the recommendation, and this is a bit of a question to Ms. Rodden, I notice in the recommendation there's nothing about holding a public meeting on the island, although it is referred to very clearly in the report near the end of the report. And I'm just wondering, should there be a motion to, recommend that a public meeting take place?
Through the chair, I can respond to that question. Staff intend to coordinate a public information meeting on Texada in the new year if the committee and the board support moving ahead with the recommendations in this report. If the directors would like to add an additional motion directing staff to hold the public information meeting on the island in the new year, I don't have any, I don't have any concern with that.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the matter, Director McCormick? Sorry, it's very hard for me to see.
Sorry, and just a quick follow-up. Thank you for that. If the meeting will take place, I don't see the need to change the recommendation. We can go with what's here. And I do think that the changes to the bylaw are important. They were, noted inconsistencies in the OCP. I remember the advisory committee having discussions about this. So I look forward to this coming forward. So thank you.
Thank you, McCormick. Any further discussion on the motions? All right, we'll put it to the vote. All those in favor? Okay, sorry, you're a bit frozen. I'm going to wait until opposed. Right, seeing none, the motion is carried. Hopefully you're hearing me because my video is a bit choppy. Sorry about that. All right, we'll move on to 8.2, the subdivision application, district lots 1480 and 8024.
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Yes, Director Brander.
Director Brander and Director McCormick.
Is there discussion on the motion? Director Brander.
Thank you, Chair. This seems to be pretty straightforward. It's a very simple subdivision, just dividing, from what I understand, just dividing it along the natural barrier of the highway. I imagine if more development happens in the future, then more subdivision will occur and they'll come back to us. I guess I have one question for staff through the chair, and that's about the public parking area. If there was any actual discussion about the size of the parking area, or if that's going to be negotiated.
Ms. Rodden.
Thank you, Chair. I think that would be discussed at the time of the preliminary layout review that MODI provides to the applicant. And as they work through those conditions, Modi would correspond with QRD staff. So it would be staff to staff. And my assumption is that the parking area, it's well known how busy the site is. And in the summer, the parking fills the existing lot and goes up Weldwood Road. So the ministry is aware of that as well. So I think sufficient parking would need to be dedicated, but that'll come later at preliminary layout review stage.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on the motion? Director Gisborne.
Thank you, Chair. This is a question I think that would be best suited to go through the chair to the staff. There is a portion of the lot that is designated as institutional, and my understanding is that is the site of a potential future fire hall for the Malaspina Volunteer Fire Department service. Has there been any indication from the property owner that is looking to subdivide to work around that lot or providing that lot to the regional district? What's the status of that portion of the parcel? Because I know that's something that was discussed many years ago, and I'm just wondering what's going on with it.
Okay, will
Through
that
the
be-
chair,
Yes.
I can address that question. Okay, staff have had several meetings with the property owners. They are aware that institutional designation was identified as an area of interest for a future fire hall when the replacement of the Malaspina Fire Hall is required. And if there is a future subdivision of this property, that would trigger the negotiation of acquiring that parcel along with park dedication. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think so. I was maybe just curious as to since the proposal is to subdivide the parcel now along the highway, is there not an opportunity now to get that portion of the land? Or is that more like the parkland dedication when we subdivide a parcel into 3 or more parcels? Is that when it becomes an option?
Through the chair, yeah, those kind of details would come with a larger subdivision. With this 2-lot subdivision, it's very basic. They're 2 very large lots, and it just doesn't trigger the ability to negotiate those kind of details yet.
Okay, no further questions, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Chair Lennox, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm having a very poor connection and it's getting worse.
Okay.
I'm trying to put this to a vote. All those in favor? Great. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you for your patience. All right, point number 9, any new business? Okay. No new business. We'll move to question period. Any questions?
Thank you, Chair. I had
No
read
questions. Sorry.
yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I had read the 8.2, the subdivision application for the highway section, and my question was with regard to the dedicated public access to the foreshore, but Director Brander had ended up asking the question, so I do have the answer from Ms. Rodden. So I don't have any other questions, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I see there's no proposed closed session today. I'm just trying to get a better view of the group here. Seeing none, I guess we'll move to adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
Need a motion.
Thank you, Director McCormick and Director Gisborne. All those in favor? Great, opposed. Motion is carried. Thanks for your patience, folks.